Seahawks Today coming up in just a few moments, but before we do, we want to make sure that you like this video if you believe the Seahawks will have a winning record in 2022. If you don't think they'll have a winning record, well, like the video anyway. Seahawks Today starts right now. Tyler Jones here with you. Glad to have you with us as we break down every single game of the upcoming season for the Seattle Seahawks, and I will give you my official prediction for the 2022 campaign. Let's go ahead and get started week one as the Seahawks bring in Russell Wilson to town as the Denver Broncos will open up the year in Seattle on Monday Night Football. And I got to tell you, I don't feel good about this one for the Seahawks. I think they're going to come out motivated. It should be a very entertaining game, but Denver is going to ultimately be too much for this one. I'll take the Broncos to win that week one contest there. Week two, not great either. Taking on a very good San Francisco 49ers team coming off an NFC Championship game appearance. Trey Lance should be starting for San Francisco, a road game in the division. I'll take the Niners in that game as well. So an 0-2 start, not ideal for Seattle. As we move to week three, that is where the Seahawks get in the win column for the first time in 2022 as they take on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons in clear rebuild mode. Marcus Mariota right now appears to be their starting quarterback. It's a home game. I think that one should shape out good for the Seahawks. Then you move to week four, and I think things start to feel a little good. All of a sudden, you're back to 500 again as you go on the road to take on the Detroit Lions. You play a familiar quarterback in Jared Goff there in Detroit, who spent many years with the Los Angeles Rams. I feel good about that matchup there with Detroit week four. What game are you most excited about this season? For me, it's that game against the Broncos week one. Even if the Seahawks are going to be an underdog, it will be very intriguing to see what it's going to be like when Russell Wilson comes back to Seattle on Monday Night Football week one. This is our pinned comment today of what game you are most excited about. Let us know in the comments section. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it. While that ad's playing, tell us what game you are most looking forward to in 2022. You move ahead to week five, and this one for me, a road game against the New Orleans Saints. I know Jameis Winston isn't the best quarterback by any means, but going into the Superdome is always going to be tough. I think that's a loss there against the Saints. Week six against the Cardinals. This one, I got an upset win for the Seahawks to pull this one off. The Cardinals were so inconsistent last year. I like this as an opportunity for the Seahawks to catch Arizona off guard. Coming into Seattle with this matchup here, I think this is an opportunity to get back on track and get a win there week six as they take on Arizona. Week seven against the Los Angeles Chargers. That Chargers team is loaded. One of the best teams in the AFC, led by quarterback Justin Herbert. A road game at SoFi could be a long day for the Seahawks there. I don't feel good about that game at all. The one silver lining I have, though, about that is that the Chargers fan base is so uninterested in the Chargers. I don't know if I've ever actually met a Chargers fan, to be honest with you. You could have a decent number of Seahawk fans there for that game in Los Angeles, so it might be more of a neutral site game. You take on the Giants week 8 at home. That one I have a win for the Seahawks. Really could go either way. And the thing for me is it's Daniel Jones versus either Drew Lock or Geno Smith. You know, to me, that is where it's a good opportunity for a win here for the Seahawks, knowing that you're not taking on a great quarterback by any stretch. But nonetheless, there's where we are at through 8 weeks so far. Seahawks Today is breaking down the Seattle Seahawks each and every day on this channel. Non-stop coverage, and the best part about it, it's all for free. So make sure you subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Turn the notifications on so you never miss a moment of Seahawks Today, straight to your inbox each and every day. youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Second matchup with the Cardinals, week 9. This one a road contest. I have that chalked up as a loss for the Seahawks this time around. And then you move to week 10 as you travel to Germany to take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this Buccaneers team is so stacked with Brady coming back. Maybe the very last time that the Seahawks ever get to play Tom Brady. And for me, I can't imagine the Seahawks going all the way to Germany and beating Tom Brady in that contest. I'm going to chalk that one up as a loss there for Seattle. Week 11, you get a bye week, probably much needed. The good thing for the Seahawks is that bye week comes at a good time. After going to Germany, it's a little bit past the halfway point of the season as well. A good time to reset and see where things are at that point in time. Week 12, you host the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, a very good football team, coming off a playoff appearance last year. I think that one's a loss for the Seahawks. Don't really like that matchup when you're talking about dealing with Devontae Adams, with where this Seahawks secondary is, in particular at the cornerback spots. That, to me, is not looking too good for that game there in Seattle. Now, here on Seahawks Today, one of the new features that YouTube has launched is Super Thanks. And so if you would like to give us money, we will take it gladly. And the way that you can do so is by where the video is at, there's a button, as you can see in this example below, that gives you a chance to donate. And you can put whatever amount you want or the suggested amounts. We certainly would appreciate it so you can be a part. And you'll get a shout-out, too. We will make sure to mention you on the next episode of this show if you give us a super thanks. So show us some love, some support for what we're doing, bringing you content each and every day here on Seahawks Today by giving us a super thanks, and we certainly would appreciate it. Week 13, a matchup to SoFi Stadium for the second time this year to take on the LA Rams. That one I have as a loss. At this point in the season, the Rams, I imagine, will be in a big playoff push to try to compete for that number one seed. I think that's a loss at that point in time. But then the losing streak, the bleeding stops week 14 as I have the Seahawks getting a home win against the Carolina Panthers. Look, the Panthers have a lot of problems right now. That team is in disarray. I don't even know if Matt Rule's going to be the head coach of the Panthers by week 14. But I have that one as a win for Seattle. Week 15, another matchup with the 49ers. I got that one as a loss. A home game nonetheless, but it should be interesting to see how the Seahawks fare in that game. And with the quarterback situation, we just don't know who the quarterback will be. Speculation is that Drew Lock is the favorite to be the starter, but will Geno Smith win the job coming back into this system? How many games do you think we'll see Geno Smith start in 2022? Will he start any games this year? Here's your chance to weigh in. Tell us in the comments section. Type Y for yes, type in for no if Geno Smith is going to start at all at quarterback for the Seahawks. You're about to get an ad break. While the ad's playing, go ahead and get your votes in. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Personally, I think we're going to see Geno Smith at some point. I don't know if he's necessarily going to win the starting job, but I would be surprised if we don't see Geno Smith at some point in 2022. Last three games of the year, you take on the Chiefs in Kansas City, one of the toughest environments in the National Football League, going up against one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Patrick Mahomes at the point in the season when the Chiefs are going to be fighting for the playoffs. I expect the Chiefs to win that game. Week 17, you take on the New York Jets. Man, I sure hope they win that game. The Jets are one of the worst teams in the entire league. Home game against Zach Wilson and company, sign me up. Whatever the line is on that one, I'm putting my money on the Seahawks to win and cover that game. And then you end the regular season with a matchup against the Los Angeles Rams at home. I have that as a win. That might surprise some folks, but here's something to keep in mind. I think the Rams by week 18 will probably be resting their starters. There's a good chance they could be the 1 or the 2 seed and already have that locked up and not need to play Matt Stafford and those guys. The Seahawks will have guys trying to prove something for the following season. I got that as a win for the Seahawks there week 18. So, now that you've seen all of those games, my final prediction, I have the Seahawks at 7-10 in 2022. I know that's not ideal for any stretch of the imagination, but you look at the strength of schedule for the Seahawks. This is the 11th toughest record in the league. It is not going to be easy, as you can see from that schedule that we just went through here. This team is in rebuild mode. Their quarterback situation is still up in the air. We don't know what guy they're going to go with, and they have maybe the worst quarterback room in the league at this point in time. I don't feel great, but 7-10, that's the same record they had last year with Russell Wilson starting the season. In all honesty, if you come away at 7-10 without Russell Wilson, the same record that you had with him the year prior, I think you're actually feeling pretty good. Not a playoff team, but I think you can feel optimistic about this team going forward if they put together a 7-10 campaign. Not great when it comes to draft picks, but you know what? You feel good about the direction of the franchise at that point. Before we go, prediction time. Will the Seahawks make the playoffs in 2022? Tell us in the comments section. Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no if you think the Seahawks make the playoffs in 2022.